Welcome to Horrible Fates, where the most unexpected and tragic endings to seemingly ordinary lives are examined. We will take some time to explore the darkness that can lurk just beneath the surface of everyday existence. On July 30th, 2010, 12-year-old Teagan Marti stood on a platform over 100 feet in the air, eagerly awaiting the ride of a lifetime. The young girl had first seen the terminal velocity ride on a Travel Channel show and was instantly captivated. After some persistence, Teagan managed to convince her parents to take her to Extreme World in Wisconsin Dells. Now, here she was, ready to take the plunge, completely unaware that her life was about to change drastically. This is Horrible Fates, the terminal velocity disaster. Teagan Marti was born on September 4th, 1997, in Parkland, Florida. Parkland is a city in northern Broward County. It's a suburb of Miami and located 42 miles north of the city. Parkland has a population of around 34,000 total residents. Now, there's not a ton of information about Teagan growing up, but what we do know is that her parents, Julie Marti and Dr. Alex Marti, described their daughter as a shy but adventurous tomboy who loved outdoor activities. Teagan was also a straight-A student and had even earned herself a spot in the National Junior Honor Society. Teagan also loved the Travel Channel, and in particular a show on the Travel Channel called Bert the Conqueror. Bert the Conqueror was a show that ran for 3 seasons. It starred comedian Bert Kreischer as he traveled across the United States to experience and participate in various adrenaline-pumping rides, stunts, and local traditions.
America is full of extreme rides, outrageous traditions, and insane competitions.
Teagan loved the show, but there was one episode that really got her attention. It was Season 1, Episode 6, where Bert traveled to Extreme World in Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin. There, Bert would experience the terminal velocity ride. The terminal velocity ride at Extreme World Amusement Park was an intense free-fall attraction where riders plunged more than 100 feet into a safety net below. The terminal velocity consisted of a tall tower with an elevator that would carry a rider and an operator up to the top. There are some differing reports that state the platform was 140 feet high or 42 meters, while others say riders were dropped from about 100 feet or 30 meters. The rider would be suspended in a harness below the platform. The operator would then release them, and they would free fall, back first, into a safety net suspended roughly 40 feet above the ground. According to the park's website, the sensation was similar to a parachute jump, with the rider landing softly due to the air tubes and suspension system beneath the net. Teagan wanted nothing more than to go on the terminal velocity ride, and she soon convinced her parents to take her. It was July 30th, 2010. For 12-year-old Teagan Marti, this day was a dream come true. She had been waiting for what felt like forever to go on the terminal velocity ride, and now, here she was, standing at the base of the towering structure, her heart pounding inside her chest. Her father, Alex, discreetly captured her radiant smile and wide, hopeful eyes with a small video camera. "Are you certain about this?" he asked, his voice filled with a mix of pride and concern. "Absolutely," Teagan replied, her voice brimming with an adventurous spirit. Teagan climbed into the ride's elevator and soon made her way up. At the summit of the tower, over 100 feet in the air, a ride operator awaited her. Teagan was securely fastened into a harness, her anticipation growing with each second. The ride's objective was simple: a free fall into a massive safety net position below. A routine signal from a ground operator would serve as the only barrier between the breathtaking drop and a safe landing. On the ground below, Teagan's parents stood, her father with a camera in hand, looking to capture the moment his daughter had been going on and on about for months. 33-year-old ride operator Charles Carnell finished getting Teagan ready at the top of the ride. His only job now was to release her once he got the okay from down below. He had operated this ride many times before. In fact, he had worked at Extreme World for many years and never had any issues. But for some reason, in that very moment, things didn't go as they should. Charles would later state that he blanked out as he pressed the button, releasing Teagan from her restraints prior to the net being in place below her. Teagan heard the click as the restraint let go of her. For a moment, she was weightless as she made the silent plunge. Her father captured it all on camera as he watched his daughter plummet, a tiny figure descending towards the ground before the sound of her impact rocked his world to its very core. The thud was a sound that would forever haunt Teagan's parents as they both let out a scream and began running in the direction of where Teagan had landed. Teagan's mother, Julie, reached her first. Teagan was motionless, her breathing shallow, as blood trickled from her nose and ears. Alex would arrive just a few paces behind his wife. His first thought was, "She's gone," as he collapsed to the ground in disbelief. But Alex was a doctor, and he soon recognized that his daughter was not only still breathing, but she still had a pulse. He screamed for someone to call an ambulance as he began CPR on his daughter's badly bruised and battered body. Paramedics soon rushed to the scene, and Teagan was airlifted to the hospital. She had suffered multiple injuries, including a fractured pelvis, fractured spine, and damage to her spleen and liver. Remarkably, Teagan would regain consciousness, but initially she could only communicate by blinking her eyes as she was partially paralyzed. Doctors would manage to stabilize Teagan, and after numerous days in the hospital, it was determined that she had not suffered any major brain damage, which is miraculous to say the least. The fact that Teagan had survived a 100-foot fall at all was truly a miracle. As Teagan sat in the hospital, an investigation into what went wrong began. It was soon discovered that the ride had worked perfectly fine, and according to reports, there were no issues with the ride itself. The entire ordeal simply came down to operator error. Charles Carnell was supposed to wait until the net was in place and he was given the okay, but according to him, he blanked out and pressed the button too soon, releasing Teagan to her fate below. Charles was soon charged with felony first-degree reckless injury. He would end up taking a plea deal with the Sauk County District Attorney's Office. This plea had Charles Carnell plead no contest to a reduced charge. He was sentenced to pay $268 in court fees and provide a DNA sample. The agreement secured a felony conviction, while Charles was able to avoid serious prison time and fines. For Teagan, the road to recovery was a grueling one, as doctors initially thought she would be paralyzed for life. For months, Teagan was confined to a hospital bed, communicating only by blinking her eyes. Physical therapy became an everyday, excruciating ordeal, but Teagan took on every challenge with a quiet, steely resolve. Progress was agonizingly slow, but there was progress. In time, Teagan began speaking again. She started regaining movement, and before long, she was taking her first assisted steps with a walker. 1 year after the accident, Teagan spoke with a reporter. Her voice was soft but clear as she told them, "It's been hard, very hard." Teagan's parents would end up suing the park, who quickly chose to settle for an undisclosed amount. From what's reported, at the time of the accident, Extreme World was already in foreclosure and facing a $2.7 million judgment in favor of a bank, so this may have motivated the park to settle with the family quickly. Following Teagan's accident, Extreme World Park would close its doors and never reopen. The site was eventually purchased and redeveloped into a new attraction called Canyon Creek Riding Stables, which continues to operate today, but the site no longer functions as a traditional amusement park. Teagan will spend the rest of her life dealing with issues from her fall, but her journey is a potent reminder of the fragility of life and the indomitable strength of the human will to survive and overcome. As I always like to do, I want to send my thoughts and well wishes to Teagan Marti, as well as all her family and friends. Big thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in to another episode. If you enjoy the content that I make here on the channel, then please hit the like and subscribe button. There's also a new hype feature available that helps push smaller channels' videos, so if you enjoy my video, please consider using your hype to push my content. Also, you can check the description box below and find the link to my merch store and a link to my membership tier for the channel. For only $2.99 a month, you can help support my channel further, and you get some cool perks to go with it. One of those perks is having your name listed here in the end of each of my videos, so a big thank you goes out to all my Cellar Dweller members. And if you'd like to submit a real-life scary story of any kind, please do so using the email that is linked in the description box below. As always, I do all the research, writing, recording, and editing for the channel myself, so anything that you do to help support the channel is greatly appreciated. And until next time, I will see you all again as we head back into the cellar.